So for more insight, we now welcome Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Fellow for the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He joins us from Washington. Thank you so much for your time. So much on the go on this front. Donald Trump isn't sounding that upbeat ahead of those next round of talks, number 6, saying he's growing less confident that he can close a deal with Iran over their nuclear program. Your take on that front?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. I think the president is increasingly reflecting the reality of the challenge of having this enrichment debate, meaning the ability of the Iranians to purify uranium at even low levels on their own soil or not. You know, the Iranians are trying to come up with multiple technical proposals that would allow them to avoid this one red line that the United States of America does have. There's been talk of a potential regional consortium, but the Iranians are saying so long as this activity, uranium enrichment, is not happening on their own territory, that they will be pushing away from these nuclear talks. And I think that is what is increasingly being reflected in the more negative commentary, not just by the president, but also in the press.
As we also just heard there, Iran is threatening to strike American bases in the Middle East if those talks fail and if some kind of conflict erupts. And as if they are listening to us right now, we're just hearing out of Baghdad, the U.S. embassy there is preparing an ordered departure given the heightened security situation. Your take on the security concerns across the region as we speak, given this rhetoric we're hearing right now?
Well, this is rhetoric, but also, unfortunately, there is a track record of reality that underwrites it, meaning the Islamic Republic of Iran twice last year, as you and Israel remember, directly launched nuclear-capable ballistic missiles towards the territory of Israel, landed some warheads in April, much more so in October, and really lived to tell the tale. If you remember back in January 2020, it responded with 16 short-range precision strike ballistic missiles at 2 U.S. bases in Iraq, after the U.S. had killed Iran's chief terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. 11 of those ballistic missiles landed. Thankfully, no one died, but it resulted in over 140 traumatic brain injuries. So this is a regime that is increasingly comfortable using weapons of war to signal resolve. And here they're trying to signal that they have escalation options should talks collapse, even though they are the ones in a comparatively weaker state.
And given exactly that, as you say, twice there have been direct strike attempts, missile attempts by Iran on Israel during this war. And Israel's obviously watching and waiting. The reports suggest that Benjamin Netanyahu has assured the White House that it won't launch or target at least strikes against Iran's nuclear sites yet, unless those talks do in fact fail. But what is your sense? Should Israel go it alone? And should it wait for the so-called window period to end or not?
Well, I think the art of the deal for the Israelis is to get the Americans to understand that there is a window, and there's a technical window when it comes to the regime repairing its air defenses and building back up its ballistic missile production capacity. There's the nuclear window, which is what the regime is looking to close because it's trying to do everything to keep America at the negotiating table and avoid the snapback deadline of October in this year. But really, if one is talking about military action, it's better to have the superpower with these bunker buster bombs and these heavy bombers. But again, for the president, which has really been riding the wave of doing less in the region, not more, and that's something felt on both sides of the aisle here in Washington. It's about dangling that threat to get the best deal possible. And in the case of the president, that is full dismantlement of the Iranian nuclear program.
A real test for someone who claims to have the art of the deal. Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. As always, appreciate you being with us on the Rundown. Thank you so much.
Thank you.